Beautiful day. Oh, man, tomorrow's supposed to be continued warm, too, so hey. It's almost that time of year again. Almost that time of year. I was down at the boatyard yesterday. With Captain Martinez. Making an inventory list. Things we need. 17 cases of champagne. Fresh pate, caviar. And, of course, diesel fuel for that big baby. Blah-do, blah-da, 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 bleedy, blah-da, 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 bleedy, blah-da, 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 bleedy, blah-dee-dee-loud-do, 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 blah-dee-dee-loud-do. 57 feet of sleek fiberglass. Cutting through the water. Proudly, boldly. I'll be standing on the fly bridge. The throttle's wide open. Stripped to the waist. Revealing grotesque overdevelopment. When I pull into the marina, I'll have my loudspeaker blaring. Yeah! Every eye will turn. They look at that wonder of modern technology. They nod appreciatively at that sweet thing sitting in full splendor on the back. Blonde hair blowing in the wind. And I'm sure it'll be another year when the damn sailboaters won't wave at me. I go by and I give them a wide berth and I wave, but they don't wave back. You know why? Because they're hating life. They're hating life on those stinking sailboats. Don't believe anything they tell you about, I'd like the wind better. It's much more natural. I'd like to be able to hear the water. You're too cheap to buy gas. That's the real answer. That's why you have something that just sits there at 3 miles an hour, sweat at 98 degrees sun. You're stewing in your own juices. Your wife hates it. Don't believe what she says either. Your girlfriend's looking at me going by proudly, boldly, wishing she were on my boat with the full carpeting and the ice maker, with the stereo with separate controls in every room, with a full head that has not only a toilet but a bidet, a jacuzzi, full air conditioning, mahogany everywhere you look, and the power to zoom at 50 miles an hour, throw in a 5-foot weight that you can ski off the back. And now you want to sit there in your sailboat. God. Seeing the same 100 yards of water every weekend. And half the time you don't even put up the sails. You use that outboard on the back. Huh? You use that sticker. If you're going to get a motor, get a real motor. Get some little guts to it. Yeah, I remember this one sailboat maggot came up to me. I could tell he was on a date trying to impress his girlfriend that he had a boat. She had to go to the bathroom. So he comes up to mine. He says, excuse me, you got a head on board that thing? I said, come on, as the frogs talk us watertight. Of course I got a head on this thing. Said, you mind if my girlfriend uses it? I said, no problem, buddy. You can use it too. He said, no, that's all right. So I helped her on board and gave her directions because I didn't want her to get lost in the cavernous forward section of my craft. And she went below. I could tell he was looking with a sneer at the boat. He was thinking about how I'm burning irreplaceable fossil fuel. He was thinking about all the money that went into that thing and people are starving around the world. He said, how can you do that thing? Look, do you mind turning off your engines while we wait for my girlfriend? The fumes are getting to me. The pollution. I said, pollution, huh? I said, you don't have a head on board. Your girlfriend's using mine. When you gotta go, what do you do? He said, well, I kind of rough it. I go over the side. I said, you go over the side. And you talk to me about pollution. I think if people were given a choice, they'd rather have my fumes in the air than your excrement in the water that they're swimming in, don't you think? Huh? I have a fully enclosed circulation system for this boat. There are no gasoline products. There are no oil products that go in the water. And I have a head that has a holding tank, which I empty out of the pump out station. I don't just go over the side. Crying out loud. rapist, maggot! We both stood there hating each other's guts. People from two different walks of life. And never the twain shall meet. Never! Well, as we were waiting, suddenly we heard this high-pitched scream come from below. I went running inside. The guy was all nervous. I came back out on deck as I said, it's okay. I just forgot to warn your girlfriend that I had the bidet filled with maple syrup.